Many in the basketball watching world were stunned, maybe not as stunned as the Warriors were. Here's what we've seen and what we haven't. The Warriors, because we haven't seen assists and the passing and the ball movement in this series really as a whole. We certainly didn't see it in game number 4. And I was equating, when we talked about it earlier, almost to like when the U.S. beat Russia in Lake Placid in 1980. Russia had not lost in I don't even know how many decades. They didn't know how to pull the goalie. The coach is screaming from the bench. Nobody knew even what to do because they'd never been in that situation. Late in the game yesterday, it looked like a team that was almost surprised and unaware of what to do in a situation like that because they'd won 16 in a row at home.
You know, and I think first we got to give Houston Rockets defense some credit.
Yes.
I mean, they played extremely hard. They had 5 guys out there that could switch, and I even put Chris Paul. He would switch on Kevin Durant and give that unbelievable effort. I was surprised that the Golden State Rockets, some of those great players, wouldn't drive the basketball. I think they were 3 for 18 from the field, 0 for 6 from the three-point line. They had an advantage when you have guys that can take you off the dribble and get to that line because you're going to have spacing with those shooters because they have a lot of them, especially Durant. Would have loved to see him use his height and get his feet into that paint and make a play.
Take me, both of you, through the last play. We're going to show it because really it was kind of confusing why Kevin gave up the ball when he did. What did you guys see here?
Well, I think first for me, Griff, is I think right here, if he has the basketball, and obviously he stumbled a little bit, he understands time and score right now. He is that type of cerebral player. But I think right now, if he's got to explode as hard as he can, then obviously if you don't feel comfortable, you bring this out, you don't pick up your dribble, because I thought Klay Thompson wasn't in a scoring area. He was going toward the three-point line. And if I am the Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr, I'm calling the timeout. Things didn't look well around the 5-second mark, especially when Durant picks up the ball. But if I'm Durant, I think you pull this back out, get some spacing, you drive this extremely hard to the bucket, and obviously you pitch if somebody come. But as a scorer he is and his ability and his size against that group guard him, he's going to get off a good shot.
So to me, one of the things that really stood out about the play was the lack of floor balance. Because Klay cut through underneath and left that corner, he really made it easy for them to bunch up in one corner. If Klay had stayed up here on this corner, up on the top, or even in the bottom right-hand corner, the spacing would have been significantly better, I think, for Kevin to drive. Now, full disclosure, as this is going on, I had to turn to Isaiah Thomas last night and ask, do they have a timeout left? So I want to be really clear. I didn't even stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. I am not a coach. Steve Kerr's infinitely better in these circumstances with his team than I will ever be. I was amazed that they did not call timeout when Klay had the ball at a dead ball stop with his back to the action. There's 5.2 seconds left in that situation. And I think to your point about pulling the goalie, they're very rarely stymied in a possession quite like they were last night. The first thing that I also thought Kevin might do when he gave up the ball, or when he stopped, was just throw it over to Draymond and let Draymond run the dribble handoff again. They had enough time to run a very standard, basic version of their actions.
You know, one of the things that surprised me was leading up to that, before that point, how many bad shots Golden State took. Kevin Durant specifically in the corner, one that was high off the backboard. Do you ever remember, Smitty, in the years of these Warriors with or without KD, so many bad shots late in the game?
Well, I think Houston had the defense out there that could switch, but like you said, it was not just bad shots, bad jumpers. I mean, they settle too much for jump shots, and they don't have the traditional post player. But then, yes, they do, Griff. Kevin Durant can catch it in the post, and he doesn't have to overpower you. He can just jump over you. I still think they have to use the dribble drive because of the spacing they have. They have to use Kevin Durant. He's 7 feet, able to get his shot off against anybody. Also, Kevin Durant has to learn that he can drive that basketball, and he's going to make a play at that rim, whether he's fouled, make it, or get to the free throw line and knock down 2.
Quickly, could we even try and overstate the amount of confidence Houston gained with that one win last night?
I don't think you can. And to your point, Houston pressed up and made Golden State feel them all game long. And Golden State's not used to that. Golden State hasn't played another 65-win team that was the #1 seed before, so this whole thing's new for them.
Makes it fun for us.
Yes, it does.
We got a series going to be interesting.
Houston has confidence.
Oh, boy. I think we all know where we're going to be on Thursday.
We got a Hampton 5 and a
Watching
Sugarland 5.
TNT.
They took down the
Western
Death Star
Conference
line.
Finals.